Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show online. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part on this Friday for supporting your local mediocre internet show. I literally cannot insert anything else, or like
it
just the
completely
train goes
derails.
off the tracks. Just like there's nothing there. It's just like there's a bridge embankment.
We straight up hit a brick wall.
I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making a sound. I gotta get this part of my hair down. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends. Happy Friday.
She got her hair.
Yeah, my hair's down. Well, kind of. There's
Got it.
at least in the front.
Right. Today is Friday. October 13th.
I do not like it.
It's
Friday the 13th in October, it should be illegal.
Okay, how are you going to?
That's.
I want to talk this through. What's your enforcement mechanism on this?
I mean, we add a random day in February every 4 years. Why don't we just take away a day to kind of even it out?
Today's Friday the 13th.
Girl math.
41 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to.
Ooh, imagine having a birthday on Friday the 13th in October.
Matt Walsh, who's very funny. Oh, Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is 52 today. Jerry Rice is 61. Does that help? Trying to think of anyone else. That seems about right. There you go. It is episode 1671. On today's show, folks, we are going to get some financial advice from our college football insider, Mike Craven, on the best bets for the college football weekend in a short weekend because there are a ton of midweek games.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
UTEP
got the win on Wednesday.
Yeah, UTEP and Sam Houston played. Houston played on Thursday. Who else? I think there's one more game on Thursday.
Yeah, there's one more Texas
SMU
team.
plays on Thursday. Yeah.
Correct.
So anyway, but it's a shorter slate, but a really nice set of plays here from Mike Craven coming up here in just a moment. And then back half of the show's Help Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel that you turned in on Wednesday, and we do thank you for your service. Mm-hmm. That is what's coming up here on this here episode. Want to remind you that tonight, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight finally lives up to its billing. It's been telling us since Monday, oh, it's Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. No, it's not. But finally, tonight, it is.
And the list of Spotlight games is insane.
It's a fantastic list of Spotlight games. Tune in 7:30 p.m. On YouTube and on TexanLive.com for free to watch whip-around coverage of the biggest Texas high school football games across the state. It's Texas High School Football Red Zone. Mm-hmm. Make sure you go check that out. TexanLive.com and on YouTube tonight at what, 7:30? You guys on the air? 7:30. Go
with
Greg Powers. So
Chicken Express fueled Greg Powers. Yes. So you want to talk about like the most elite powers on camera.
Talk about a man who's going to be bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Greg Powers and Nick Lopius will be doing that. Make sure you go watch Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight, 7:30 p.m. All right, Pickle. There's one man that I trust with my financial future, and it's Mike Craven, our college football insider, who has his best bets for Week 7 of the college football season in the state of Texas. Here it is, Craven Bets. It's Craven Bets, America's most lucrative segment here in Craven's Corner. Because on this corner,
we make money.
Last week, you would have been. We could all retire if we all just shorted Texas teams. Like just a brutal week for Texas teams overall. You ended up coming out okay, though.
Yeah, I did okay. It has been a brutal year for Texas teams. 5 out of the top 6 teams in our college power poll lost last week, which meant there wasn't a lot of movement because, like, where do you move them? They all would move down. Just nobody on top of their division standings. It's just been a pretty rough year for the state of Texas.
Well, let's make sure it's not a rough year for our bank account. Let's get some financial advice from our financial advisor, Mike Craven. We're going to start. It's a shorter slate. We should mention it's a shorter slate because there's a bunch of midweek games. So by the time you're hearing this, we record this early. I guess you could probably tell. A lot of these games are going to be done, but there is a couple of plays that you like. We're going to start 2:30 p.m. on CBS as the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies look to bounce back going on the road to take on Tennessee, the number 19 team in the country. Tennessee is laying 3 points, but you like the Vols at home.
On the Aggie War Pod with Jay Arnold earlier this week, I took A&M. I think I've talked myself into the Tennessee side of this deal. A&M has the pieces to win. They can win. They can beat Tennessee the way Florida did. Be better physically up front, dominate them. Tennessee wants to run the ball a lot more than people know. But that secondary is so bad for A&M. This feels like the Joe Milton game, like the game that he's going to show everybody why so many people are high on him. The Aggie secondary struggled against an Alabama team that isn't great at passing the football. They allowed Miami to throw for over 400 yards. I feel like Tennessee is going to abandon the run a little bit, use the quick passing game, go vertically, and just really test those corners. I don't know if A&M can score with them.
A&M just 4-6 as a road dog under Jimbo Fisher. We'll see if they can come out with the win there. Let's now matriculate, staying at 2:30 to over to ESPN in Fort Worth, where BYU will make their first trip to Fort Worth as a big member of the Big 12 to take on I think it's fair to say, reeling TCU team. TCU, a 6-point home favorite against BYU. I got to be honest, I don't necessarily understand this line. And judging by your play here, you like the Cougars. I guess you maybe don't either.
Yeah, it's one of those lines where it almost makes you nervous because it seems so weird that they must know something that you don't. And Vegas isn't built by losers. These guys know what they're doing. And so I am a little bit worrisome about how easy that line feels to take the other way. BYU is a physical football team. They play a lot of close games. So even if TCU wins this by 3 or 4, the BYU side still cashes. I don't know the quarterback situation, who's going to be healthy, who's going to be not there. TCU struggled offensively to score points. This feels like it's going to be a low-scoring, close game, and BYU wins that on this ticket, whether they lose by 3 or win by 3.
Yeah, what's strange is I was doing research for this. TCU, despite going to the national championship last year, just 5-4 as a home favorite under Sonny Dykes, which is kind of strange.
Already lost 2 home games this year. They started 12-0 under Sonny Dykes. They're 4-5 since. So like they've lost a decent amount of football games, and they've all been kind of close one-score games that they were winning last year. Now all of a sudden they're not winning. Give me BYU +6.
One last play, 6 o'clock on FS1. Kansas State visits Texas Tech. The Red Raiders return back to Lubbock, where they are much more comfortable. 1.5-point favorites are Texas Tech, and we've talked at length about the difference between Road Tech and Home Tech, and you like Home Tech here.
I like Home Tech here. Some of this is just I don't know what Kansas State is, and they've been struggling. I think Texas Tech's good here. I think Texas Tech's offense has gotten better sans Tyler Shuck. Baron Morton's throwing the ball deep very well. But beyond that, it feels like it's forced that Kitley and that offense to go, hey, we have Taj Brooks, and he's the best player on our football team. Let's give him the football. He's ran for over 100 yards, I think, in 4 straight weeks. He's been tremendous, was great last week against Baylor. I think at home with a solid defense that's playing better and better, and with a run game like Tech might beat Kansas State the way Kansas State normally beats people. And that's going to be kind of an interesting recipe to watch unfold in Lubbock.
Kansas State has not been awesome on the road, just 4-5-2 against the spread on the road, and 2-3 as an away underdog. He's Mike Craven. He is our financial advisor and the college football insider here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football on Craven's Corner, because on this corner,
we make money.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
I feel like busting loose, busting loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Busting loose when you wanna sing. Busting loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about busting loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Okie dokie, artichoke. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Ridgeline. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
We love you, Honda. Thank you very much, North Texas Honda Dealers, ntxhondadealers.com. ntxhonda.com, was it?
ntxhondadealers.com.
ntxhondadealers.com. We love you very much. Also, we've almost certainly moved into 2024 Ridgeline, right? I want that 2024 Ridgeline.
Correct. I agree.
Want it for free.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. I'll get Honda tattooed. Let's go, guys. It's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering your questions. We do thank you for getting your questions in last week, or rather on Wednesday. It was earlier in the week. For Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday, we've gathered them up into your. Do you have your bushel basket? Mm-hmm. You have your bushel basket.
The bushel's ready.
So let's see what's in the bushel basket. Pickle, did anyone ask any questions?
Yes. Do you think Melissa Cardinals can make it to state? I mean, we rank them as the #1 team for a reason.
It's funny because we haven't talked about Melissa in a minute because
they've just kind of been dominating people.
In the same way that like we haven't talked about like Alito in a minute. They have a big game this week against Burleson Centennial. Yeah, Carthage. Or these teams that are at the top that are just kind of known commodity. Benjamin, right? We haven't talked about Benjamin. I'm trying to think of like the teams that are probably like the most locked and loaded #1 teams. Melissa's going to be up there because one of the things that we probably haven't talked a ton about is the fact that in 5A Division 2, you've got Melissa at the top, and then it's kind of a free-for-all for second place, right? Right now, the second-ranked team in 5A Division 2 is Frisco Emerson, okay? Good team, huge test tonight, right, against Argyle. Montgomery Lake Creek. Fun team. Not sure that defense is going to hold up. I have questions about them. Right, Midlothian Heritage, really good team. Maybe I could see that. Got some playmakers. Texas High. Like, there is no... Melissa has right now not only the #1 spot, but also the consistency and the elite wins that they've got. I mean, this is still a team that's got a 36-point win over Argyle, that's got a 30-point win over China Spring, and it's got a 21-point win over Terrell. Like, those are the 3 best teams they've played. And by the way, now we're all kind of gearing up for Week 11. They take on Lovejoy. Lovejoy presently ranked #8, right? That'll be a big game. But what if they go out there and they smash them?
And if you wanted to ask me right now, I would project that to be
I would
the
at
outcome of the
least
game.
pick them to win, and I'd probably pick them to win by
2 touchdowns.
7 to 14 points.
Yeah.
Like a game where they are the clear favorite. So, yeah, like right now, Melissa has to be locked and loaded, I think, your favorite to win 5A Division 2. Now, they're going to have to go through a difficult region. They'll have to get by South Oak Cliff, a team we haven't even mentioned yet. But they'll have to get by South Oak Cliff. They'll have to get by, believe, Frisco Emerson. Frisco Emerson, Region 2? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
He said confidently. No, they're District 3, so they're Region 1. They'll have to get through a difficult region that includes Lovejoy, South Oak Cliff, right? But, like, it's right there for them. Like, to me, they came into the year talking state or bust, and I think that is still the situation. It's state or bust. If they don't win state, it would be disappointing, I think, for them internally. So, there you go. I think that they right now are the clear favorites of 5A Division 2. What's next, Pickle?
Let's transition to who makes it out of Region 4 and 4A Division 1.
Oh, geez. This is the mystery region. And what's funny is, like, so Region 4 or 4A Division 1, Region 1, right? So we're talking about 4A Division 1, Region 1. I want to make sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, Region 4.
Region 4
4A
of 4A Division 1.
Okay. 4A Division 1, Region 1. I mean, it probably has to be Bernie.
Yeah.
Right? Bernie is the state runner-up. They're the defending regional champ.
How's Cal Allen doing?
They've got a big game this week against Alice. I want to see what happens when they play Alice.
They're in
the mix. Davenport is probably in the mix. But there's a couple of teams now.
Lampasas hasn't looked terrible.
They haven't looked bad.
They haven't
Lampasas
looked
is
bad.
dangerous. There's one team that I would keep an eye on.
Pleasanton. No. Shout out Will Wilkerson, our digital social media.
So Lampasas has the one loss to Wimberley, but I don't know if you necessarily bury them for that.
Wimberley's
really
fifth-ranked team.
Really good. The team that I'm keeping an eye on, and I'm not throwing dirt on, is Port Lavaca Calhoun. Okay?
Yeah.
Calhoun is 3-3. Okay? They have losses to Stafford. They have losses to Yoakum and Gregory Portland. Okay, now Yoakum's a state-ranked 3A team. It's a 3A team, but it's a state-ranked 3A team. Stafford, it's week 1. I don't know how much you do. And then they lose to Gregory Portland, who's a 5A team. They also have a history of doing this. They're also that team. They're one of those teams that, like, always shows up in the third round of the playoffs with 4 losses or something like that. So I'm not throwing dirt on Port Lavaca Calhoun. Right now, the pick is Bernie.
Yes.
I think it has to
It's
be.
Bernie's to lose.
It's Bernie's to lose. I think that's a great way to put it. It's Bernie's to lose. I would say, and they're probably, they're going to finish 9-1 because I think they're going to romp through their district. They're going to finish 9-1, and then it's going to be theirs to lose. But yeah, I would say Bernie's got to be the favorite there. What's next, Pickle?
What does the rest of the season for Longview seem to look like? And hey, Taylor Tatum, congrats on being the TD leader.
Yeah, he did. As Greg Powers mentioned on our Wednesday show, he became the Longview touchdown record holder.
Which is just crazy.
Which is crazy to think about, considering
it's not
Longview's
like
been playing for 100,000 years.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not like it's Shadow Creek and you've been playing for like 7 seasons, you know?
So, I think Longview's going to finish 9-1. I think they're past I think they've got one more game that I will have an eye on. And that is
North.
next week at McKinney North.
Yeah.
And the reason is it's on the road at McKinney North. Going to
And-
the same barn where they've already lost a game.
Exactly. On top of the fact that then they also had to make the trip down to play Lancaster, to play at Forney. Like, they've been traveling.
Home Longview and road Longview, I think, are different things. I really do. And I think that they feel it. Going to McKinney North will not be fun. They will be favored. They will be the team to beat in that game. But, like, that's a challenge.
Well, heck,
the rest
that could
of their
probably
district, they should win.
That could probably be for the district championship right there. McKinney North is 5-1 and 3-0 in district.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, if McKinney North beats Lufkin this week, they got to go to Lufkin, which is no fun.
No.
But if they go to Lufkin and get a win, then next week sets up what is going to be essentially a district championship game. Now McKinney North, I want to say they've still got to play Forney So like
Okay.
Forney can do the three-way tie thing. But I would say that, yeah, right now we're careening towards a district championship game between McKinney North and Longview in McKinney on is that a Thursday night affair? No, it's a Friday. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night. Big game. Right now, Longview, though, I mean, they're the number 2 team in the state for a reason. I think they're really good. I think that defense is elite. And I think it's going to hold them in games. Can the offense, can Andrew Tutt do enough? That's going to be the question all year. It's on him. I hate to put it on one player, but it's about Andrew Tutt. So, yeah. What's next, Michael?
Kind of a twofer here. What databases do you use for stats and records such as Honey Grove shutouts? And then when was the last time a team didn't allow a point in the regular season?
I've got my sources for we got the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Archives that we dive into as far as that's concerned. As far as the last time a team didn't allow a point in the regular season, boy, I would need to look that up. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't think I can find it real quick. That is it's a fascinating question because you're right. Honey Grove, no points, no punts. They have not allowed a point yet in the season. I will tell you, and I don't mind telling you guys this, that our friend Jerry Forrest, our partner Jerry Forrest, we rely on his database at pigskinprep.com a ton. He's got a ton of points or a ton of stuff out there. So make sure you go check out pigskinprep.com if you want to just dive into data and subscribe to his website. By the way, absolutely. So for Honey Grove, they're going to take on Quinlan Bulls this week. They're at Quinlan Bulls. They should win that game. The questions are going to be more about like do they punt or do they score, give points. Next week, they take on Cooper, and it gets real in a hurry. It gets real in a hurry. That'll be the best team they've played by a factor of 3.
Yeah.
That's the best team they've played. And so we'll find out next week about them. Are they just like a fun team that got a favorable schedule and like ran up like an interesting record, or are they for real? Because it's probably going to be a matchup. Who's Cooper? They've already beat Wolf City, so it should be.
Yep.
Yeah, they're open this week, which is bad. I think that's bad news for Honey Grove.
Yep.
Not here nor there, but they're open this week, so they're going to come in. It's going to be a matchup of unbeatens between 6-0 Honey Grove and actually Cooper's got a loss. Cooper's got that loss earlier this year to non-district loss to Hooks. That's right. So yeah, we'll find out a lot more about Honey Grove next week. There's not a ton to take from them this week. What's next, Pickle?
The answer to this question now is probably no for both of us, but go back in your Wayback Machine when you first started. Are there any coaches that absolutely scare you to interview? And I don't think I've ever felt like scared, but there's definitely been some like times of, all right, I got to be like Johnny on the spot with this coach because they're very precise. Like that's what I always felt like.
Gary Joseph. First time I interviewed Gary Joseph, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because to be very clear, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a very nice guy.
And
we now have a nice relationship.
Your room for error is like
but he's
negative.
He's about his business. He's about his business.
When Terry Gamble was at Allen, that was another one that you had to be it was my favorite thing because he would go directly to the locker room, and there was one time I looked at my cameraman Marcus and I was like, all right, you get on one side of him, I'll get on the other, and we are going to stop him and be like, Coach, I got to get an interview. And you're doing
like the police chase thing where you get in front of him.
Yeah, literally we stopped and I was like, Coach, we got to grab you for an interview. And he stopped and he smiled, and then after that, the next interview, he came to me and brought his players. So it was one of those things that some of them you just have to show them like, hey, I'm not going to waste your time. Here. I'm ready to go.
And I think you bring up a really interesting point, which is if you only deal with coaches on game day, your relationship with them is not going to be good.
Yep.
Because coaches on game day can be grouchy. Right?
Rightfully so.
Right. This is their business.
Or focus.
This is their job. And so if you're dealing with them throughout the course of but I know when you are doing your stuff for Bally, I know we like to do it here at Dave Campbell's, of like just checking in and talking with coaches and just getting on the phone and chatting with them.
That was the thing. Like
99.9% of them are great guys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just like, yeah.
The key, and I'll just give you the keys to the factory here, if you will, but the keys to the success is call them during the week, have a good conversation with them. Don't waste too much of their time. Just be punctual and do that. When you get to the stadium, go up, shake their hand, introduce yourself so they remember what you look like.
What you're wearing.
And what you're wearing. And so that way when they see you and tell them, hey, if you're leading at halftime, I'm going to interview you. Or if you win after the game, I'm going to interview you. And guess what? They see you standing there, they pop right in, and then they go. And it's like a very smooth process. But so many people just don't reach out, and then they try to chase down the coach after their 7th interview. They don't want to talk
Now, the
anymore.
college side's interesting. The college side's interesting. Interviewing Gary Patterson was always a challenge.
Yeah.
It was always a challenge. He was very particular.
But that's why you do the exact same process with the SID. You check in with the SID throughout the week.
He's the gatekeeper.
You check
He or
in
she's
with
the
that
gatekeeper,
because the SID brings them to you. It's just like at state championships. Like you've got to have the right person to bring the people to you.
I think I've told this story before, but we've all slept. This was back. What year was this? This is knowable. It was when Yoakum made it to the state championship game. This was in 2016. They lost to Mineola. And it was a bit of a surprising run for Yoakum. There were 2 real surprises at the state championship games, kind of both in 3A with Yoakum and Bowling, both big surprises. But Yoakum was there, and I believe no, I don't know when I ran into Coach Bo Robinson, Yoakum, but it was right before the game, and I talked. I don't think I'd ever talked with him at that point. So, like, red flag number 1. I don't think I'd ever talk. Maybe I'd talk with him once, but like I hadn't really talked with him. This is 2016, and I went up to him. I was wearing my suit from ballet and stuff like that. I went up, and he was getting ready to go out on the field with his players. And I went up and I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, Coach, Greg Tepper, Dave Campbell's Texas. Well, congratulations on being here." He's like, "Hey, thanks." And I'm like, I got to be honest. Like, I really didn't think you guys were going to be here. And he looked me dead in the eyes. He goes, "Guess it doesn't really matter what you think." And I was like,
Correct.
Correct. Now, me and Bo, to be clear, like, I want to say I saw him at, like, coaching school the next year, and we laughed about it and stuff like that. And, like, we have a very good relationship. But I remember that moment. I was like, oh, you're not a fan.
Another one.
And to be clear, there are definitely coaches out there who do not like me.
Yes.
Like, that's not – I'm not saying I have a 100% approval rating.
Right.
But, like, that was one where it was like, oh, you don't like me. I need to walk away. He's also like a former – I want to say he's a former NFL player. He's a big dude. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk away.
The funniest ones for me were the ones that off the camera, they're super goofy and they're funny and stuff, and they'll joke around with you, and then when they get on camera, they get super serious with you. And Matt Meekins down at Spring Westfield was always that for me. I knew for a fact that he liked me. We would talk. We would have a good time. And the moment we got on camera, he acted like he wanted nothing to do with me. And then he would walk away and he'd be like, I got you again, pickle. So those are always fun.
That is, yeah. So now I will say on the college side, the other thing, I was very intimidated to talk with Jimbo Fisher when we did the 2018 cover shoot. But he is I will say this, and certainly he is a product of how things are going on the field. And like this was at the very beginning of his tenure at A&M because we put him on the cover right after he got hired. But in that conversation, he's very affable. I understand, like he is. I know there are people who aren't big fans of Jimbo Fisher. I will say this. He's a charming fella. In person, when you talk with him, he's a charming fella. I can see
He gives Gary Joseph vibes.
I can see why people like him. You know what I mean? I can see why people like him. And Gary Joseph, I'll just crack the code for anybody on Gary Joseph. Here, I'll just give out interview tips for all the coaches. For Gary Joseph, like I was like, you go and you're viewing him as like football coach. Oh my gosh, football coach. The best thing to do is just view them as like person. And so, like, I remember, like, I was sitting down interviewing him at coaching school, and my first question was about his grandkids.
Oh, he
and it was just like
up about his granddaughters.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you about my granddaughters.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So, anyway, that's more than
I
you want to know.
got lucky that they were running around during my interview
yeah.
one time after they beat Buda Johnson.
Probably Buda Hayes.
Buda Hayes 70 to whatever. So he
Hayes.
was already in a good mood. But the granddaughters running around. I was like, hey, girls. And he was like,
These are my friends.
Yeah.
We can talk about them. Like the fact we were in 32 belly, like we can talk about that if you want, but like more importantly, let's talk about this.
Look how cute these kids are.
All right, you got one more?
I do. If you were given $100,000 with a caveat that you had to spend it in 7 days, what would you buy?
Ooh.
A house.
What I would
Not a $100,000 house,
like,
but I would
guess,
put it
yeah,
towards the.
spend it means don't like it's no like I have to trade it for goods and
Yeah,
services.
I guess
right?
let's keep it from out of being like how putting it towards a house. Like let's take out the logical side of what you could
see because
use
what
with
I would do is I would take the
$100,000.
$100,000 and I would like I'd do something super boring with it, like invest it.
Yeah.
Or like I'd go and I'd put it like in my kids'
Kids,
college funds.
yeah, exactly.
And just like they'd be sad.
Yeah,
you know?
I would take it and I would put it directly into my savings account.
Right. Yeah. And that's spending.
That's spending
I don't
it.
have it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I do, or I'd go like put it toward my mortgage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just like be done, like not be done, but
Yeah.
you know, make a nice chunk out of it.
Chunk out of it, yeah.
If I had to spend it though, I would want to go on like one of the things I'd want to do. This is a Brewster's Millions situation. Are you familiar with the film Brewster's Millions?
Mm-mm.
Brewster's Millions is a film starring Richard Pryor from the 80s. There's old people in the comments who are like, yes, I love Brewster's Millions. In which I haven't seen it in a minute, but I want to say he's a baseball player. He's given $1 million, but he has to spend it in 30 days. And this is in the 80s, so like $1 million is like way too much money. He has to spend it, and then at the end he cannot have anything to his name or something like that, but he can't give it away. Like it's something, there's some sort of weird like thing with that, but it's the gist of, or it's like this is the thrust of Brewster's Millions, which is a really good film that I need to go revisit now. Richard Pryor's really fun. I want to say Willy Wonka's in it too.
Oh. All right.
That might be true. Anyway, where's that John Candy?
Man,
Who's in
we're
Brewster's
just
Millions?
off the charts. What
Give me a
would you
second.
spend your $100,000 on?
Brewster's Millions, 1985. John Candy. It wasn't the guy, but yeah, Rick Moranis is in it too. Okay. One of the things I would do, I think this is the easy play. The easy play is like you go on a super kick-ass vacation.
Yeah.
For like, now, because here's the thing. Do I have to spend it, like, could I book this for like 3 months in advance?
Yeah.
Like, could I just be like, we are going to Bali
Like
for
now.
a month,
Yeah.
right? And just like, it's all going to be great, but
Yeah.
it's going to be in April. Because like, I can't go to Bali for a month right now.
Yeah.
Like, that would be bad for my long-term career. But that's what I would do, is I would probably book just like a super ritzy vacation.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. If I had to spend it on something that, like, do I absolutely need it? No. But would it be cool to have, like...
Hang glider.
Correct. Like a boat. I think it would be cool to spend it
You
on,
are
like...
a boat person.
Yeah, but that's kind of one of those things. Like, if I'm not talking about doing an investment property or investing the money or whatever, and even like a car, like, okay, I would rather have a boat that I could keep for 15 years than a car that I would keep for at
okay.
max like 10 or 12, you know?
Monty Brewster is a minor league baseball player. And long story short, he is he's gonna get left a $300 million fortune, but he can either get $1 million right now, or he can inherit the entire estate by spending $30 million in 30 days. Yeah, and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, but he may not own any assets that aren't already his at the end of 30 days. So, there you go. So he has to do it without acquiring things. Which, again, just go on 30 kick-ass vacations.
Yeah.
Like $1 million vacations. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Anyway, it's a Brewster's Millions situation. Go watch Brewster's Millions, starring Richard Pryor and
Basically,
John
I got
Candy.
the full synopsis at
There
this
you go.
point.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Anyway, that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Reminder, Texas football tonight, 7:30 p.m. On YouTube and on TexasLive.com for whip around coverage, including like Winsboro, Pottsboro. Y'all got some haters.
Winsboro, Pottsboro, Hitchcock, Columbus.
Like the biggest games in the state.
Yeah, literally.
Like not over exaggerating here. The biggest games in the state.
Yeah.
Make sure you're watching it on YouTube or on TexasLive.com for free. So make sure you go check that out. That's going to do it for us, but one last thing to do, Pickle, and that's to find out who is the Week 7 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, in conjunction with the TaxAct Texas Bowl, is proud to present the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award to the most deserving high schooler in the state of Texas. Each Monday, TexasFootball.com announces 10 candidates for that week's award based on the previous week's on-field performance. Fans then decide the winner by voting on TexasFootball.com. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week Award. For more information, visit TexasFootball.com.